Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the moment you make your very last mortgage payment, after 30 years, after 360 payments. It's finally done. You imagine champagne, fireworks, dancing, like some invisible 30-year chain just snapped clean off your chest. Right? Welcome back to Cash Carter, where we break down the money stuff nobody ever taught you. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything in this video is purely for educational purposes. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. Now let's get into it. Here is what nobody tells you. The day after that final payment, nothing actually changes. The sun rises the same, your alarm goes off the same, and that feeling you expected? It's quieter than you thought. And that is actually the first danger zone. Because when the moment does not feel as big as you expected, your brain starts looking for something to fill that emotional gap. And your brain is very good at finding things to fill that gap. Usually things that cost money. Usually things that feel completely justified in the moment. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Month 1 after the mortgage, you take a vacation. You deserved it. 30 years of sacrifice. Absolutely fair. Month 2, you upgrade the kitchen. It was outdated anyway. The house is paid off. You're not going anywhere. It makes total sense. Month 3, new car, because the old one had 90,000 miles, and you have been driving it for 8 years. You worked hard. You earned this. And every single one of those decisions had a reason, a justification, a perfectly logical explanation. That is what makes lifestyle creep so incredibly dangerous. It never feels like a mistake while it is happening. 6 months after the mortgage payoff, he finally opens the bank statement, and the number looking back at him is not what he expected. The $1,800 a month he freed up, gone, absorbed, vanished into lifestyle. And the worst part? He has nothing to show for it. That is actually building his future. This is not a rare story. This is the most common story. And I am not telling you this to judge anyone. I am telling you this because awareness is the only thing that stands between you and this exact outcome. So let's talk about the psychology behind why this happens. Because it is not a willpower problem. It is not a discipline problem. It is a brain wiring problem. Your brain has something called a financial set point, a comfort level. For 30 years, your set point included a mortgage payment, going out every month. Remove it, and your brain quietly works to restore that level of outflow somewhere else. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. Your brain literally seeks equilibrium, which means the only way to win is to consciously redirect that outflow before your brain does it for you. And the window to do that is smaller than you think. Research shows that financial habits reform within the first 90 days of a major money change. Miss that window and the new habits calcify. So right now, wherever you are in your mortgage journey, this information is your advantage. Most people find out too late. You're finding out right now. Now I want to show you to people, same age, same income, same neighborhood, both paid off their mortgage in the same month. 5 years later, completely different financial lives. What was the difference? Person A, on the day of their final payment, sat down and wrote a plan, not a complicated plan, a one-page plan, where every dollar of that $1,800 was going, starting the very next month. Person B celebrated, breath, said I will figure it out next month. And next month came, and went, and the month after that, and the pattern was already set. 5 years later, Person A has a fully funded emergency account, maxed retirement contributions, zero consumer debt, and a growing investment portfolio. Person B is comfortable, but only just, same income, same starting point. 5 years, one decision made on one day. That is how much power that single moment actually holds. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what if I already missed that window? What if the mortgage has been paid off for a year and I haven't done any of this yet? Then today is your day one. Right now, this moment. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And that is not a motivational poster. That is literally how compound interest works. Because here is the mathematical truth that most people never sit down and actually look at. $900 a month invested at an average 8% return, starting at 45, gives you over $530,000 by age 65. Half of the freed mortgage payment, half, not all of it, just half, invested consistently for 20 years, over $500,000. That is not a dream, that is arithmetic. And yet most people will never do this. Not because they cannot, because nobody sat them down and showed them the actual numbers, until right now. So before part 2, where we go through the exact step-by-step plan, I want you to do one thing. Write down the number, your freed up monthly payment, whatever it is. Write it down right now. That number is not just a number, it is the monthly investment in the next chapter of your life. Treat it like that, protect it like that. And in part 2, we are going to put it to work. Alright, you wrote down the number. Good, now let's talk about what actually happens to that money if you do this right. Step by step, no fluff, no filler, before we get into investing, before we talk about any of that, there is one thing that has to happen first. You need to know exactly where you stand financially. Right now, today, this is called your net worth, and I know that sounds like a fancy term, but it is the simplest thing in finance. Everything you own, minus everything you owe. That number is where you actually are. Most people avoid this number. They are scared of what they will find. But here is the thing. A bad number is always better than a bad number you are pretending is not there. So step 0. Before any plan, sit down this week and calculate your actual net worth. Write down every asset. Write down every debt. Get the real number. Own it. Now, step 1 of the actual plan. And I said this in part 1, but I need to say it again, because most people skip it. Your home maintenance reserve, 3% of your home value, separate account, dedicated, non-negotiable. Why does this come before investing? Because a $15,000 roof replacement that you are not prepared for will wipe out 6 months of investment gains in one afternoon. Protect the asset first. Home worth $200,000. You need $6,000 in reserve. Home worth $300,000. You need $9,000. Build that first, then move to the next step. Step 2. Attack your highest interest debt immediately. And I mean immediately. If you have a credit card charging you 20%, that debt is costing you more every single day than almost any investment can earn you. Think of it this way. Paying off a 20% credit card is the same as earning 20% on an investment. Guaranteed. No market risk. No volatility. Just gone. After the high interest debt is gone, look at everything else. Car loans, student loans, personal loans. Make a list, ordered by interest rate, highest to lowest, then attack them in that exact order. Now here is where it gets interesting. Step 3. While you are attacking debt, simultaneously, you need to be building your emergency fund, not after the debt is gone. At the same time. Why both at the same time? Because life does not wait for your debt payoff timeline. Your card does not care that you are trying to pay off your credit card. Emergencies happen on their own schedule. The split I recommend, 70% of that freed up payment goes to debt elimination. 30% goes straight into your emergency fund every single month on autopilot. Now, step 4. This is the one most people are actually waiting for. Investing, building real wealth, creating money that works while you sleep. Here we go. First question people always ask. Where do I actually put the money? And the answer depends on whether you have access to an employer 401k with a match. Because if you do, that match is free money. Free money. If your employer matches up to 4%, you contribute at least 4%. Every dollar below that match is a dollar you are voluntarily leaving on the table. Nobody should be doing that. Nobody. After the employer match, next priority is maxing your IRA. Roth IRA if you qualify, because the money you put in grows completely tax-free. You pay tax once going in, never again on the growth. In 2024, you can contribute $7,000 to an IRA if you are under 50, $8,000 if you are 50 or older. That is the catch-up contribution, and if you have been behind, use it. After the IRA, go back and max the 401k above the employer match. The contribution limit in 2024 is $23,000 under 50, $30,500 if you are 50 or older. Put as much in as your budget allows. Now, after retirement accounts are funded, any remaining freed up money goes into a taxable brokerage account. Index funds, low cost, diversified, set it and forget it style investing. I know some people want to pick stocks, individual companies, exciting baits, and I get it. But the data is very clear. Most individual investors underperform. A basic index fund, over 10 years, boring wins. Consistent boring investing wins. Overexciting unpredictable investing, almost every single time. Over the long run, the tortoise beats the hare in finance, every time. So let us look at the full monthly allocation plan, using $1,800 as our freed up payment. This is what the winning version looks like on paper. $200 straight to home maintenance reserve until it hits your 3% target, $300 to emergency fund until you hit 6 months of expenses, $400 attacking highest interest debt, $700 split between your 401k contribution increase and your Roth IRA. Automated, every paycheck, before it ever touches your checking account, automatic before conscious, and the final $200, guilt-free, completely guilt-free, dinner out, weekend trip, new shoes, whatever fills your tank, a plan that never breeds, will never last. Build the breathing room and deliberately. Now I know what some of you are thinking. What about paying off other property? What about starting a business? What about helping my kids with the down payment? We are going to cover all of that, but those decisions come after. The foundation is solid. Foundation first. Always, you cannot build a second floor on a cracked foundation. Get the base right, then we can talk about everything else. In part 3, we are going to go deeper. The advanced moves, the things most financial channels will not tell you. What to do if you are behind on retirement, how to use your home equity without losing it, and the one decision that separates people who build generational wealth from everyone else. Stay with me. Welcome to part 3. This is where most financial videos stop, but we are just getting started because the real money decisions, the ones that actually separate comfortable from wealthy, happen right here. Let us start with the question I get asked more than any other. What if I am already behind on retirement? What if I am 50 years old and my retirement account looks like a disappointment? First thing I want you to hear, you are not alone. The average American aged 55 to 64 has less than $185,000 saved for retirement. That sounds like a lot until you realize that is less than 4 years of average expenses. But here is the part nobody tells you. The decade between 50 and 60 is actually the most powerful savings decade of your life. Your income is usually at its highest. Your kids are usually out of the house. And now, your mortgage is gone. The government actually acknowledges this. That is why catch-up contributions exist. After 50, you can put an extra $7,500 into your 401k on top of the regular limit. Use every single dollar of that catch-up room. Here is what that actually looks like in real numbers. If you invest $2,000 a month, starting at age 50 at an 8% average return, by 65 you will have accumulated over $690,000. Starting at 50, after the mortgage is paid off. That is the power of finally having room to invest. Not because you got lucky, not because you got rich, because one large obligation finally ended and you immediately redirected that firepower. Now let us talk about home equity, because you are sitting on something most people do not fully understand. Your paid-off home is not just a place to live, it is a financial tool. And like any tool, it can build things or it can destroy things. A home equity line of credit, HELOC, lets you borrow against your home's value at relatively low interest rates. Used correctly, it can fund investments, business opportunities, or help your kids buy their first home. Used incorrectly, a HELOC becomes the most dangerous debt you will ever carry, because now you're borrowing against your home, the home you spent 30 years paying off. One bad decision and the chain goes back on. So the rule for home equity is simple: never borrow against your home for anything that does not generate equal or greater returns than the borrowing costs. Vacations, furniture, cars. Never. Not once. Now let us talk about the topic that almost nobody in personal finance addresses directly. What do you do about your parents or your adult kids when you suddenly have more financial breathing room? The requests will come. And here is the honest truth that nobody wants to say out loud. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you drain your financial future trying to fund everyone else's present, you become the person who needs help in 20 years. The oxygen mask principle: put yours on first. Not because you are selfish, because a financially secure you is infinitely more helpful to your family long-term than a financially broken you trying to help right now. That said, once your foundation is solid, helping family with intentionality is one of the most powerful things money can do. A down payment gift for your kids, paying off your parents' remaining debt. These are legacy moves. Now let us talk about the one decision that actually separates people who build generational wealth from everyone else. This is the thing I want you to really hear. It is not the investment strategy. It is not the tax optimization. It is not even the amount saved. The single biggest separator is, do you talk about money with your family? Openly, honestly, regularly. Families that talk about money raise kids who understand money. Kids who understand money make better decisions. Better decisions compound over decades. That conversation at your kitchen table is worth more than any single investment you will ever make. Generational wealth is not a trust fund. It is not a real estate empire. It is a family that understands money well enough to keep building it across generations. That starts with one honest conversation. Now I want to address something. Some of you watching this are not homeowners yet. You are renting. Watching this and wondering, does any of this even apply to me? Everything in this video applies to you. Every principle, the debt elimination, the emergency fund, the retirement investing, the family conversation, none of this requires a mortgage. It just requires a decision to start. And if home ownership is a goal, everything we talked about applies to getting there too. Build the emergency fund. Kill the consumer debt. Invest consistently. When the time comes, you will be ready. Actually ready, not just hoping. Let me give you the 3 questions I want you to answer this week. Not someday. this week, before you watch another video, before you scroll another feed. This week, question 1. What is my actual net worth right now? Not estimated, not guessed, actual, assets minus debts. Write it down. Question 2. What is my monthly freed up number, or what will it be when the mortgage ends? Question 3. And this is the one that matters most. What is my plan for that money? Not a vague idea, an actual written plan, where each dollar goes, before it arrives, written down, this week. Because here is the final truth I want to leave you with. Your mortgage was not your enemy. It was a tool that gave you a home. And now that it is done, you have a new tool, time. And what you do with it is entirely your choice. Most people spend 30 years getting to this moment, and then they spend the next 30 years wishing they had done something different with it. You now have something most people never get, the information before the moment. Use it. Share this video with one person, just one. Someone who is close to their payoff, someone who just hit it, someone who needs to hear this before the 90-day window closes. One person, you might change their entire financial trajectory. Drop a comment below right now. Tell me where you are in your mortgage journey. Are you 10 years in? 5 years from the finish line? Already done? I read every single comment on this channel. Everyone. That is everything for today on Cash Carter. If this video helped you, hit subscribe because we cover exactly this kind of real money conversation every single week. No hype, no get rich quick, just the truth about money that actually changes lives. I will see you in the next one.